this racetrack.
Going back to the grassroots of racing.
In and out of different racetracks, and we'll see it play out again here today.
The ARCA Menards Series championship winner will be crowned.
Get ready to rock and roll past the race car today, pal.
Green flag is in the air. We are racing.
He's got the advantage up off the corner. How about side by side?
3 wide.
Boy, that's some good stuff. That's what the ARCA Menards Series is all about.
This is fun.
Just a dominating performance.
Hard contact. Holy Toledo.
Amazing day.
It's been fun to watch.
Amazing year.
They are on their feet getting ready to go racing.
Time to do it one more time in 2025. It's the Owens Corning 200 from the Toledo Speedway for the ARCA Menards Series on Fox. 20th race of our slate this year, and the Toledo area has greeted us with very warm temperatures. It's hot, high 80s here on this first weekend of October, and the action is about to pick up in a very intense way out on the racetrack as well. For one final time this season, hi everyone, alongside of Phil Parsons, I'm Eric Brennan, and when we started the season a little less than 8 months ago, Phil, Brendan Butterbean Queen really set the tone by winning that race at Daytona. And that tone remained all year long.
Yeah, we knew he came into the season with championship DNA because he won that Cars Tour championship last year. We just didn't know how he would do on the super speedways and the intermediates. Well, he proved he knows how to do it there. He's just a really good race car driver. It's really been fun to watch him, and he's a great personality as well. He has done an outstanding job this year, piling up the wins, piling up those great finishes, leading laps. He's done exactly what you need to do to try to get to that next level. That's what this series is about. They build champions.
And Brendan Butterbean Queen has already locked up the title by rolling off the truck and running a practice lap here. Look at the box score, Phil.
Yeah, you see all that yellow? That means he leads the league in those statistics. Wins, top fives, laps led. Amazing season for this driver and this team.
Now, even though we've talked at length about Butterbean's success in terms of racking up bonus points, Phil, he's been really good in late race restarts, too.
Yeah, he's grabbed the lead on these late race restarts. That was William Sawalich in the 18 car who won 9 races in ARCA last year that he got the lead from and went on and won. Here's Gio Rogero, who's had such a great season this year in the Truck Series. He grabbed the lead from him in Michigan. Beats him through turn 1 and 2 from the outside, goes on to grab that victory as well. And he wasn't done then. How about Iowa? Brent Cruz, a multi-time winner this year in the ARCA Menards Series. He's in that 18 car. Butterbean was able to get the best of him. We're going to switch it up a little bit, put Lavar Scott in the lead. But Butterbean was able to beat him on the restart at Salem to go on and win that short track race. And one final time, our last race at Kansas, that was Gio Rogero once again, who had the lead. Butterbean bested him, went to victory lane to sweep Kansas for 2025.
I think it's safe to say that if this race comes down to a late restart, Brendan could very well be looking at win number 9 to close out the season. But Butterbean is not the only driver with something to celebrate so far today. How about our Bounty Rookie of the Year winner, Isabella Robusto, driving in what is a swan song effort for Venerini. Phil, she has wrapped up Rookie of the Year honors once this race goes green.
And certainly deserve it too. She's piled up the great finishes. As you can see, there are 8 top 5 finishes this year. She's been out front just about the entire race. Had a little bad luck. She might have been contending maybe for the top 2 in points, but an outstanding season for this young lady, and she has a great attitude as well.
Now, Isabella is not the first female driver to win Rookie of the Year honors on the ARCA National side. Haley Deegan did so back in 2020. But Phil, one of the stats that jumps off the page with Isabella, 10 career top 5 finishes. That's only 2 behind the all-time record for a female racer in the series. Erin Crocker Evernham holds those honors.
Yeah, she will absolutely, if she stays in the ARCA series, she will certainly surpass that record.
Now, as far as the full championship picture coming into this finale, as we mentioned, Butterbean's got the title essentially locked up. Lavar Scott, sitting second in points, essentially has that spot locked up. But Phil, all eyes are on that fight for third in points here today.
A really solid season by Jason Kitzmiller. First time he's ever gone to a lot of these racetracks as well. You see he has a 13-point edge right now in Isabella. And the thing he's got in his corner, his crew chief, 9-time Toledo winner, Frank Kimmel.
And they were very fast in practice, was Kitzmiller, top 4 on the speed charts. One final time, we're going to fire the engines. To do that, we will turn it down trackside to kick off the Owens Corning 200 from Toledo.
And it is time, race fans, for those most famous words in motorsports here to deliver the command. The Owens Corning sales leader for Menards, Mr. Sean Parr. Sean?
Glass City, are you ready? All right, on behalf of Owens Corning and Menards and all the sponsors for the race today, we welcome you and thank you for coming out. But it's time. Drivers, start your engines!
25 cars come to life, the largest ARCA field at Toledo since 2017. It will be a championship celebration for that driver. Butterbean will be starting on the front row. We'll come back for the green flag right after this. One final race, one final General Tire Polo World qualifying session, but a familiar name was able to lay down the quick time in qualifying. Max Reeves, for the third time this season, is going to start on the pole for one of his partial ARCA Menards Series campaigns.
Yeah, such an impressive job this young man has done all year long. Been to victory lane a couple times at such a young age. Bright future for him.
Looking to parlay that pole to his third win of the season, did so at Elko and Madison throughout his partial schedule this season.
How about that crowd, Eric?
A packed house. They promoted it last night at the Champions Dinner. They said that the ticket sales were looking great, and the fans have come out to support this track and this event, and they are about to see a show. We mentioned Max Reeves, the pole sitter, and our newly crowned champion for the 10th time on the front row.
Yeah, no secret the 18 and the 28 are up front. These guys have been toe-to-toe all year long. It doesn't matter who was in that 18 car. We saw that in the video on those restarts. Different drivers, always up front.
And we could expect those two to remain up towards the front throughout this race, as they will make up the front row. Again, 25 cars going to start this race. We'll now show you the rest of our starting lineup for the Owens Corning 200. And as we look at that second row, it's the return of Tristan McKee, Watkins Glen winner on debut, and Lavar Scott trying to sew up second in the championship points, which he will, but more importantly, looking for win number one.
Oh, so close at Salem to getting that first win. Could happen today. Here we have back in row number 3, Isabella Robusto. We just talked about her, the body rookie of the year, and Julian DaCosta making a rare start. Really did a nice job qualifying up in the top 5.
About 3 cars in lockstep formation for the Venerini organization as we dip back to row number 4, the third Venerini car in the field. Taylor Reimer, fresh off a top 5 on our intermediate debut last time out at Kansas. And Big Willie Mullins is back. The Virginia native will start 8th.
There's back in row number 5. We talked about Jason Kitzmiller, third in points coming into this race, and Tyler Wright, a runner-up last year in the West Series points, making his final start of the year.
That takes you through your top 10 combatants for, again, this 25 car strong starting field. The rest of your field will be listed on the left side of your screen for the Owens Corning 200. Phil, this racetrack is rich in history. Opened back in 1960. Tell us all about Toledo.
Yeah, I've been coming here, I think, ever since it opened. My brother was fortunate enough to win 3 ARCA races here at this racetrack. You see it's a half mile. The banking, it looks a lot more than 11 or 13 degrees. Those guys will be right on the bottom, fighting for the bottom of the racetrack. And this surface is a little bit deteriorated, a little bit old, but it's fun to watch these guys run down off the racetrack, especially off of turn number 4.
85th ARCA Menards Series race in its history here at Toledo.
Let's take a look at our race analysis. See, this race is 200 laps, 100 miles. We're going to have 2 race breaks on or near laps 75 and 125. We saw a winner last year was William Sawalich, and the first race was won by ARCA legend Yankee Katona back in 1963.
Field was working through what was 4 scheduled parade pace laps, now receiving the 1-to-go signal for the final time this season. Phil, it's been an unbelievable year, and a lot of exciting things on the horizon for this series, but I think everyone has the same goal: end your season on the highest of highs and get to victory lane in this last shot.
Yeah, without a doubt here. This is the finale, as you mentioned, the 20th of 20, and nobody would like any more to close this year out with a win other than people like Lavar Scott, maybe get that first win. Isabella Robusto we talked about. Or would it be a surprise winner possibly? Keep an eye on that 82 car, Tristan McKee, teammate to Butterbean in the 28 car. He was really strong in practice as well.
Field is now going to be in the hands of Max Reeves. Third time he has sat on the pole for an ARCA Menards Series race this season, with the champion Brendan Queen to his outside. Glad you're with us for one final time in 2025. Time to go from Toledo to kick off the final race of the season. Good launch by Max Reeves. Reeves from the pole cements the lead in the middle of 1 and 2, side by side behind him for third.
This is certainly a bottom-dominated racetrack right here, but you see Lavar doing a nice job hanging in there with the third running Tristan McKee in the 82.
So Reeves going to lead lap 1. Butterbean the second. McKee drifting up the racetrack just a little bit as Lavar continues to try to toe the outside lane to make it work for that podium spot, with Isabella Robusto closing up there in 5th.
Yeah, Robusto would love to get him pinned to the outside and grab that for a spot.
And as we watch the second place running number 28 car for Pinnacle Racing Group, Brendan Queen is the 2025 ARCA Menards Series champion.
So deserving for this team. Basically a short tracker that said, I need to expand my horizons a little bit. 3-time track champion at Langley Field in Hampton, Virginia. We talked earlier, won the Cars Tour Championship last year. Great short track racer, but man, has he proven his mettle on the intermediates and the super speedways as well.
Has rightfully earned a lot of respect from many across the industry, and we continue to ponder what great things are on the horizon for this young man. But his goal is to close out the season with a win. But right now, Phil, he's lost about a second to the leader, Max Reeves, and don't want to say he's holding up these 3 cars behind him, but they're certainly starting to bottleneck a little bit in this battle for second.
I think we have to mention, too, that Max Reeves came up here and ran the Glass City 200, the ASA race, one of the biggest races of the year here at Toledo for late models, and he was able to qualify well and finish third in that race, had a podium finish, so that experience is going to help him today for sure.
We've seen what Max could do on racetracks where he has little to no experience. Can imagine what he's got up his sleeve for a track that he already knows pretty well.
See Butterbean moving around a little bit, moved up the racetrack down there in 3 and 4 to maybe see get a little straighter shot up off the corner. Now they're lapping some cars. That's the 0 right there of Nate Moeller.
Also going around the 9 of Matt Kemp in the fast track racing entry. Things are about to get a little bit wild here because there are cars on the bottom and up in that top groove. Things start to settle out as they go around Brayton Laster in the 06. And Jeff McConey in the Owens Club Racing 03. Big news for him. Got engaged last night to his longtime girlfriend Bridget. Congratulations to both of them. A Toledo native herself.
Yeah, and then nothing better than to get engaged on a race weekend. I got married on a race weekend, so I know exactly what they were thinking.
After they solemn their way through some of those cars that have fallen a lap down early, this battle for second continues to intensify. Ironically, these two, the teammates for Pinnacle Racing Group, ran in these spots through most of the race at Bristol. It was McKee who ended up getting the runner-up edge there. It was Butterbean who settled for third. Brett Cruz won the race, but these two are finding themselves in close proximity whenever McKee gets an opportunity to join Butterbean as a teammate.
Yeah, I think the fact that these 3 cars are lined up behind Butterbean, I think they have better cars than him right now. But again, it's one thing to have a better car, and it's another thing to be fast enough to be able to pass somebody on this half-mile racetrack.
Lavar Scott and the Rev Racing team, who have shown all year long that their short track program is certainly up to where they need to be to contend with the likes of Max Reeves and Butterbean as they continue to be your top 2, with Reeves extending the lead.
Isabella in that 55 car right on the rear bumper of the 6 of Lavar Scott. Again, no surprise. We talked about it earlier. The great job she's done this year. Been so competitive. And here she is again running in the top 5.
And Toledo was not part of her part-time slate in 2024. This is her first ARCA start at this racetrack, and she's picked up to it quite quickly as she continues to run in 5th and is now working over the backside of Lavar Scott for 4th.
It's really amazing to me that these young drivers can pick up things. So obviously there's similarities between Toledo and other racetracks that we go to, but the fact that they haven't been here doesn't bother them one bit.
Now working their way around Michael Maples, who runs 17th on the racetrack. As one of the full-time competitors, we'll drop a lap off the leader, 16 laps in, and I think we're about to add another car to this mix. 6th place running Venerini Motorsports number 20 of Julian DaCosta is starting to close in his second career ARCA start.
Yeah, that's another driver without a lot of experience, period, in these kind of cars. He runs a Trans Am TA2 series. He's in the top 5 in points. They have 2 races remaining. Tristan McKee, that we've talked about, essentially has that championship locked up if he can just show up the remaining 2 races.
17-year-old out of Mayaca, Florida, who made his debut with the Nitro Motorsports team, who he's had a long-standing relationship with, now sliding over to what is a very sentimental weekend for the Venerini Motorsports organization, wheeling the 20. Spoke to him just before practice, said he was thrilled to be back at an ARCA event and at a racetrack like this, and he's confident he's just going to be able to figure out these cars quicker and quicker.
Yeah, he did a nice job in Madison, had that top 5 finish, so look for a possibility, another top 5 for him.
He's trying to chase down some cars that are still working their way through some very intense traffic at this fast half-mile oval, as Max Reeves is still the pace setter, and you see how that margin has kind of ebbed and flowed a little bit, and traffic could end up being the story, as it has been throughout most of our short track races. That was Tony Cosentino getting sideways in front of him, but nevertheless, this is something that this young man has been pretty good at, and that is figuring out how to pace himself through these cars that are running at a much different speed than he may be.
I thought he did an outstanding job at Madison. That was one of his 2 wins. Just impeccable finish there and drive for 200 laps.
Here's the fight for third just in front of him. The fight for second momentarily got side by side as Butterbean tries to, I think, prepare himself for some of the cars that he's catching. Jackson McLaren in the 95, the aforementioned Tony Cosentino in the 11, and that's going to give McKee room on the bottom to think about trying to draw even with his teammate.
That's the key. Where are the lap cars going to go? They're going to stick to the bottom, which I like sticking to the bottom for those lap cars. And that's going to allow Butterbean to retain that second position.
See the leader on the left side of your picture, battle for second, right side. Now adding more cars to the mix as they go around Cosentino and company. And so far, Queen has been able to fend off McKee with Scott and Robusto chasing.
Yeah, those 4 cars, 28 in second, all the way back to 5th, have been together since the very drop of the green flag. There's our leader, Max Reeves, now got clear of traffic and opened up a little bit over a 2.5 lead.
The last time that Max Reeves had the chance to win a pole and go on to victory, Madison, he led all but 1 lap, hoping he could lead wire to wire here today at Toledo. 25 laps in, and we'll be back to Toledo right after this. ARCA Menards Series Racing on Fox is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards. And by Bounty. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper. Back at the Owens Corning 200 at Toledo Speedway. Max Reeves, the General Tire pole sitter, still leading since the drop of the green flag, but threading the needle through traffic has been just about everybody up to this point. And our champion found himself in quite the circumstance on the backstretch.
How about this traffic right here? We talk about lap traffic having issues. Let's make it 4 wide for a moment.
And Butterbean, with the 4-wheel drift into the corner, keeps it off his teammate in McKee as they were catching Becca Monopoly in the 85. And that is going to be a Reese's sweet move of the race nominee. And that may not be the last time we see these cars have to take evasive action. ARCARacing.com, Monday, 3 p.m. And see if that just about 4-wide move notches Butterbean another Reese's sweet move of the season.
Now that 82 car, Tristan McKee has been able to get by Butterbean for that second spot. Is now within a second of our leader, Max Reeves. There he is right there. That's Tristan McKee in the 82, Butterbean in his familiar 28.
Also, while we were away, Isabella Robusto was able to get up to 4th past Lavar Scott. So hoping to see if Isabella could continue her climb up the running order. And since McKee has made that pass, the separation between himself and the champ has been about a car length and a half. Well, Phil, a lot of unique and interesting perspectives from crew chiefs and crew members about what it takes to run well here at Toledo. What are our keys to the race?
See, right, center turn. Obviously, every time we go to a short track, it's getting that car to go the other direction. That's critical here at a place like Toledo. And then also, you want to hook that bottom off of turn number 4. You want to be down below that yellow line, almost in the gravel or dirt, grass down there. That'll propel you around that corner, almost turns that car for you. And number 3, and maybe even most important, patience. You don't want to overdrive the center of the corner, get down up off the bottom and not be able to make the second half of the corner. And obviously patience with the lap cars as well.
And we've already seen patience have to be exercised several times as we inch closer to the quarter distance mark of this 200-lap race. Again, our first scheduled race break, we're about a little over halfway there. It's scheduled to come on or around lap 75. So the race teams do have an opportunity to look forward to making some sort of adjustments should they choose so. And I'm curious what Max Reeves and company are thinking here, because that lead is starting to trim down a little bit now that McKee has got some clear track.
Yeah, just over a half a second now. Actually, he beat McKee by 1/10 of a second that lap. As you can see, he's opened it up about 4/10 of a second over this stretch of 4 laps. There's Tristan McKee. We talked about the fact that right behind the 18 of Max Reeves is going to win the Trans Am TA2 championship this year. I think he will become the youngest ever champion and will surpass what Brent Cruz, who is now currently holds that distinction.
And is also in the history books for being the youngest Cars Tour winner ever at the ripe age of 12 a few years ago.
And how old was he when he won Watkins Glen? Like 15 and 5 days?
Yeah.
Just the youngest winners we've ever had in the ARCA Menards Series as well.
And here's our 27-year-old champion out of Chesapeake, Virginia, Brendan Queen. Again, wrapped up that title just by taking a lap in practice, and he's joined, ironically, by our Rookie of the Year titleist for 2025, Isabella Robusto, who runs 4th.
Again, a great effort here again by Isabella. You mentioned it. This is kind of the swan song for Venturini Motorsports. Talked to Big Bill down in the garage area before the race, and I said, is it emotional? He said, when people come up and talk to me, that's when I get emotional about it.
Here's Lavar Scott, who runs 5th, kind of boxed in by Michael Maples, who's taking the high road to get around the 10 car. One of the fast track machines. In fact, Scott's still not able to get around Maples just yet. He'll try to do it here, but he's lost about 1.5 seconds plus to Robusto, who runs 4th, but Scott rounds out the top 5.
You can easily lose 0.5 second or maybe more just catching a lap car at the wrong time, and that's exactly what happened to Lavar.
Julian DaCosta also in one of the Venturini cars, 3 of which entered here for this weekend. DaCosta in his 2nd career start in the ARCA Menards Series. The last one came with the Nitro Motorsports team at Madison, where he had a great run there.
Right now, currently running behind DaCosta in the 7th position is the 25 car of Taylor Reimer. There she is right there, top of your screen in the Buzzball Toyota for Venturini's. Outstanding top 5 at Kansas, our last race. First time ever at a 1.5-mile intermediate racetrack and came away with a top 5.
I want to believe this is Reimer's 3rd paved ARCA start and 2nd on a short track. Also debuted on pavement with ARCA earlier this year at Elko. Started and finished 8th there. But prior to that, a lot of success on the dirt side, including a career best 3rd at Springfield in 2024. And she has gone 5 for 5 in terms of top 10 finishes across her 5 ARCA starts.
That's what you love when drivers are consistent like that. They get to the end of the race.
Here's a driver who finished runner-up in the ARCA Menards East standings, and a former ARCA winner did so at Phoenix a couple of years ago, Tyler Reif, back with the Sigma Performance team, doing a great job, currently running in 8th position.
Yeah, he won Phoenix as a 15-year-old a couple years ago, as you mentioned, so a lot of talent in this young man, too.
In terms of the battle for 3rd in the championship points, Jason Kitzmiller trying to round out what's been a great season for him. In fact, Jason shared with the public and the team next year is going to be his final full-time season in ARCA before, in 2027, he'll turn the keys over to his son Isaac, the ARCA East champion from this season, whose schedule next year may look a little bit more enhanced.
Yeah, that's a situation where you catch a lap car at the wrong time. He's not been able to get by that 95 of McLaren. Now he's going to be able to do it from the bottom of the racetrack.
Kitzmiller nursing a little bit of damage there on that left front. Approaching our first race break from Toledo. More to come. Welcome back to the Owens Corning 200. In trouble for the driver who is trying to wrap up third on the championship standings, Jason Kitzmiller. Flat right front tire. He has just come down the pit lane with a flat tire that they've had to repair on that car, and he's not the only one. We also saw problems for the number 31, Presley Sora. He had a flat right rear. Phil, this may benefit Isabella Robusto in a big way in terms of points.
Yeah, we talked about that battle for third. She came in, I think, what, 13 points behind Kitzmiller. Obviously, Kitzmiller is going to lose at least 2 laps, but now we're showing Kitzmiller on our timing is going 4 laps behind, back in the 16th position. So certainly third is within reach for Taylor. Excuse me, for Isabella.
And also, just out of my vantage point, Isabella's teammate, the 20, Julian DaCosta, also on the pit lane with a flat right front tire. The same for Jackson McLaren in the 95. A lot of these teams sweating these final few laps of the race break because they may have pushed pretty hard.
There were only a couple laps ahead. Just before, while we were away at commercial break, we were almost side by side for the lead when they caught lap traffic. And another flat right front we hear for Jackson McLaren. This is going to be equal to the longest run that we will have. Again, race breaks at 75 and 125, so this last run at the end of the race will be about 75 laps as well.
And as Max Reeves continues to exercise about a 1.5 seconds advantage over Tristan McKee, he is closing in on what is going to be the comp yellow as he comes off of turn number 4.
That lead had gone away when he caught lap traffic, and he was able to get through that lap traffic fairly well and put a 1.5 seconds on McKee while he was hung up behind that lap traffic as we have our race break. As you can see, these are the procedures for the race break. 4 crew members are allowed over the wall. Teams are allowed to change tires and add fuel. They just can't do it simultaneously, and you will not lose your position. How you came on the pit road will be how you come off of pit road. One thing we have to mention, though, they only had 14 tires for this entire day, so more than likely these teams only have 6 tires left on pit road that are new tires. So they will put 2 tires probably on this pit stop, save the lap 125 race break to put 4 tires on.
And it will erase the lead that Max Reeves was able to build up at the time of the yellow, just over 1.5 seconds, with McKee second, Butterbean third, Robusto and Scott your top 5. And with several cars and drivers having tire issues before that caution, the running order's been jumbled up a good bit outside of the top 5. Under our first caution of the race, our first scheduled race break, Max Reeves the leader. More to come next.
It is Brendan Queen who will win the season opener at Daytona.
Dominating the event, Brendan Queen wins at Kansas.
Queen is going to grab win number 3 in 2025. He gets the job done at Michigan. It's B-Nation time tonight, boys.
Queen takes the checkered flag for the 4th time this season on the Monster Mile.
Brendan Butterbean Queen wins at Iowa Speedway.
6th win of the season. Brendan Butterbean Queen wins at DeCoin. 7th win of 2025. Brendan Butterbean Queen wins at Salem. A sweep of the Heartland for Brendan Butterbean Queen. He wins for the 8th time in 2025.
Welcome back to Toledo Speedway, and what a year it has been for the newly crowned ARCA Menards Series titleist Brendan Butterbean Queen, our Sioux Chief fast track driver for today's race. And Phil, I think he's on a fast track to something special in the not too distant future. Even though we're not quite sure what it is yet, he's certainly highly touted for good reason.
Yeah, without a doubt. We saw the video of all those big wins he had in ARCA Menards Series. But let's don't forget, he did double duty at Kansas last week. Had an outstanding run in the Xfinity Series that Kaulig Racing really needed. Had a great top 5 qualifying effort, finished in the top 10. Obviously his best career Xfinity finish is only his 2nd time in Xfinity, but did an outstanding job.
A fast learner here on the ARCA side, proven to be so in other disciplines. How about this? ARCA builds champions. Look at this.
Yeah, how about my big brother BP? Made his name in ARCA back in the late 60s. Justin Allgaier parlayed an ARCA championship into Xfinity Hall of Fame type numbers. See Ty Dillon, our champion back in 2011. Chris Buescher. Look at this, is a who's who in NASCAR. Chris Buescher, also an Xfinity champion. Sheldon Creed, a Truck Series champion. Chase Briscoe racing in the playoffs now in the Cup Series, and Ty Gibbs, who had a very fast car at Charlotte today on the Roval.
And this is just a fraction of the drivers who have come up through ARCA and found great success in the top tier national ranks in NASCAR. We're under our first race break with Max Reeves, the leader. We'll be back to resume the Owens Corning 200 right after this.
For the 10th time in the ARCA Menards Series this year, it's Ty Gibbs. Jesse Love is going to lead every lap en route to win number 10 on the season.
Amazing year for this 18 team. In 14 starts, 9 wins.
For Butterbean, it's his 8th win in his 20th start. Phil, Butterbean has found himself in some pretty popular company in terms of how solid this year has been.
Yeah, without a doubt. Look at some of these names that we compare to. Ty Gibbs was an Xfinity champion. We just talked about him. Very fast car at Charlotte in the Cup Series. Jesse Love in the playoffs, a multi-time winner in the Xfinity Series. William Walsh hasn't got that first win in Xfinity yet, but he's been really fast, and that's just around the corner. But Butterbean, wherever he may end up next year, he's going to be fun to watch, and I'm looking forward to it.
And as you said, just before we went to break, he's already impressed in his second Xfinity start, grabbing a top 10 in Kansas about a day after, less than a day after he won that 8th ARCA race of the season. How about that? We got a Menards right in the backyard here at Toledo.
Love that. John Menard and the Menards family, so important to the ARCA Menards Series. And what a true champion of racing, though. John Menard's been involved in racing, loves racing, and he's done so much for the ARCA Menards Series for sure.
And I have to say, Phil, being able to travel to a lot of these events this season with the series, the activation they do at the track, what they do for their employees, and how they integrate them to these ARCA events, it's remarkable.
Yeah, without a doubt. Owens Corning is our title sponsor, obviously one of Menards' main vendors, and they have a huge hospitality area right adjacent to the grandstands over in turn number 4. We saw a lot of pink today.
Including that poor Pink Panther. Somebody get that thing of water. It is scorching out there today.
High 80s, as you mentioned here. A little unseasonable for Toledo here in early October.
Now, the good news for the race teams, our next scheduled race break is going to come on or around lap 125. So this run, Phil, is not going to be the straight 75 lap stretch that we had to start. So I think for some of the teams who may be concerned about tire issues that we saw plague a lot of teams, at least in this stretch, you would think if they did put 2 new right side tires on this stop, they're not going to have to sweat it out as much as they made that final run.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think some of these crew chiefs may be a little bit worried about that final run, like we were talking about, that will be somewhere around 75 laps. And remember, do we have any cautions in that first stage of the race? So that was 75 laps to not give these tires any opportunity to cool off in that first section of this race.
Yeah, the record for most cautions here, 18. That was in 2008. I think that record's safe today.
We're not going to do that.
Record for fewest, 2, so we could tie that as we now drop back to Lavar Scott. And we mentioned, Phil, you know, this is a driver who for the second year in a row is going to wrap up second in the championship standings. This young man who is from Carneys Point, New Jersey, has had a really good season overall and still knocking on the door to victory lane. But coming into this race, a bit of uncertainty for the team in which he's driving for, at least to our knowledge. And it was addressed in the drivers' meeting this morning as well.
Yeah, I've communicated with Max Siegel, the owner of Rev Racing, who's done so much for racing in general, and certainly the ARCA Menards Series. Two driver championships in the last 3 years. And Max said, we're just evaluating our program right now and envisioning the next chapter for Rev Racing. But their commitment remains the same, to provide opportunities, develop talent, and continue making a lasting impact on this sport. And they certainly have done that. So many drivers really got their opportunity at the major levels of racing, and whether it be the OK&N Series or the ARCA Menards Series. They've given so many drivers. I mean, Kyle Larson is one that comes to mind, and he's done pretty well, I think, since he got his opportunity. Won actually an East Series championship for Rev Racing back in the day.
And Lavar is certainly going to follow a similar pathway as well, hoping to close out the year with a win. It's going to be 120 laps to go. Again, next race break coming on or around lap 125. Max Reeves, the leader on the bottom, with Tristan McKee up top. Back underway from Toledo.
Huge jump by Max Reeves that time, and allows Butterbean to pull right up beside his teammate, Tristan McKee. We saw McKee have a little faster car than Butterbean in that first section of the race. Let's see if he can pinch Butterbean down a little bit and still hold on to that second spot as Butterbean gets a little bit loose off of 4.
Side by side for second, side by side in the fight for fourth as well. Now McKee with the edge off of turn 2. Butterbean unable to get back to the power to protect the spot. Door banging behind him between Lavar Scott and Isabella Robusto. They continue to bounce off each other. Tyler Reif waiting in the wings. He looks down low, ducks back in line. More contact to 1.
That's not the first time these two have gotten together. Isabella made the pass after a little contact in that first section of the race. Look at Lavar fight, trying to get back to the inside.
Isabella leaves the door open just wide enough for Lavar to keep the fender down low. And as you can see on that race break, oh, trouble! Scott spins down to turn 1 and tags the inside wall hard. Well, they touched multiple times leading up to that contact off of turn number 4. And Lavar Scott unfortunately ran out of pavement before the front end of that Chevrolet was destroyed, hitting the protective barrier at the end of the pit wall.
Yeah, quite a bit of damage. What an unfortunate situation. Let's take a look at it, Eric. You see, coming off turn 4, just I think it's just racing. It didn't look, maybe Isabella came down just a touch, made slight contact, but Lavar was just along for the ride when that car turned sideways. And this is a young man that always runs all the laps. In his entire career, he has completed over 99% of the possible laps, but a lot of damage to that car right there. You can see the radiator is askew on that car as Lavar gets out.
Now, before the contact that evidently is going to end Lavar Scott's day, this is what happened the lap before coming off the corner.
Yeah, hard racing. See a little bit of contact right there. Isabella gives him enough room on the bottom of the racetrack. Lavar's going to get his nose back up inside of Isabella. A little more contact right there. Let's see, we'll have a good angle right now. Just a little bit of contact. From that angle, it didn't even look like Isabella even faded towards the inside of the racetrack. Just racing hard, knowing that the tires are as good as they're going to be in this stage right now and trying to make something happen. Tough break.
And I think that right front tire to left rear tire contact, that rubber to rubber, may have been what kicked Lavar's car sideways as fast as it did. A few inches either way, maybe he continues on to the next corner. It's going to be a second consecutive DNF for Lavar Scott. We're under caution at Toledo. We're going to our second caution of the Owens Corning 200 at Toledo Speedway, the season finale for the ARCA Menards Series in 2025. After an incident involving the driver who will wrap up second in the championship standings, but unfortunately his second consecutive DNF in what was a very consistent season. Lavar Scott heading back to the attention of his crew, and they will be loading up that car in several pieces. Now, at the time of this crash, which was in the battle for the third spot gone wrong, the battle for second up the road is a Reeves Sweet Move of the Race nominee. How about Tristan McKee on the outside, fending off Brendan Butterbean Queen with his runner-up spot to start on the front row with the restart on the horizon.
Yeah, Tristan did not get a very good restart. That allowed Butterbean to get up beside him, but Tristan really fought back on the outside. You have to have a really good handling car to be able to hold that outside like Tristan was able to do there. There he edges back ahead of Butterbean to hold on to that second spot.
Don't forget, Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern, head on over to ARCARacing.com to see who walks away from Toledo Speedway and closes out the season as a Reeves Sweet Move of the Race winner. And the good news for McKee is that since he's been able to protect that second spot, he's going to get another opportunity here to go up alongside of Max Reeves and battle for this lead. And you look at the resume this season for McKee. Madison, he was running in second spot when he had a brake issue that forced the car to spin in turn 4. They had to work on the car to get it repaired. He fell several laps down, but finished the race. If it wasn't for that moment, he very well may have 3 straight top 2 finishes to start off his ARCA career.
Yeah, extremely talented young driver. Talked to him down in the garage area this morning. I was down there listening, he and his crew chief Shane Huffman, the debrief, and it's amazing how detailed his debrief was about this racetrack. So that allows Shane Huffman, who's a bit of a magician when it comes to setting up these race cars, it gave him some great information, and obviously it's showing right now.
See many of the fans who've come on out on it. Again, it's an absolutely gorgeous day here in Toledo, Ohio. You could not have asked for better weather in the first week of October. And the race fans are certainly making the most of it at this racetrack. And Phil, we had a chance to go out to the Champions Dinner that ARCA puts on, where they invite several of, I would say, the alumni and the accomplished racers and drivers.
Snuck in.
Yeah, I know how they let you in. I don't know how they let me in, but. And one of the fun things to hear as we're a lap away from getting back underway, when this track was built, this was known as the Super Speedway of Ohio, with the high banks and how fast this place is. To watch the sport evolve and to watch this place evolve is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, for me growing up in Detroit, only about 50 miles away from here, we had Flat Rock, which is half the size of this racetrack. And then we also had Mount Clemens racetrack, which was also a half mile, but it was as flat as a table. But we had come to this racetrack, high banks, fast speeds. It was so much fun.
And as we've seen, by virtue of our last incident, these ARCA cars are moving around here. When things go wrong, it could happen in a spectacular way. So, about to wrap up caution number 2. Max Reeves in the 18, the leader. McKee in the 82, topside. Second attempt to see a restart with this front row, and second time, Max Reeves launches perfectly.
It looks just about like a carbon copy of that first restart after the race break. See Butterbean trying to hang in there on the inside, not able to do it this time. So McKee's going to stay right in within a couple car lengths of Max Reeves.
Tyler Wright has snuck his way up into 4th, and Taylor Reimer trying to grab a top 5 finish for the second race in a row in her limited slate in 2025. Reimer has now cracked the top 5 and is the leading Venerini Motorsports car right now with heavy pressure from her teammate Robusto.
Yeah, Isabella lost a couple spots on that restart here. She is trying to get back to the inside of Taylor Reimer.
Oh.
These are teammates, didn't you say that?
Isabella chomping at the bit to get back to the top 5, and now Reimer's kicked up off the bottom. And with a couple of scratches and blemishes down the left side of a race car, Robusto back to P5.
Remember last year on the dirt, these drivers finished 2nd and 3rd. Isabella 2nd and Taylor Reimer 3rd.
Just behind them, Willie Mullins, who got the free pass on the first caution, now still running in the 7th spot. A great effort for Big Willie. His 5th start of 2025. Here is that battle for 5th. Physical from multiple corners.
Well, if there wasn't any contact, it was awfully close, but Isabella lost a couple spots on the restart, and that's just a byproduct of having to start on the outside. Tristan McKee didn't get a great restart, so that accordion's back to where Isabella was.
Here it is down into 1. Oh, that's close.
But she did what she had to do to keep that right front fender inside that left rear quarter panel. How about Butterbean now? David Dawson has made his car a little bit better. He's all over this teammate, Tristan McKee.
This battle for 2nd, just as close as what we saw in the battle for 5th a few laps ago. And Butterbean drops back in line, dips a wheel off in the grass that time, trying to hug that line on 4. One of your keys to the race, Phil. Butterbean was trying to get it all.
Exactly. Hook that bottom off of turn number 4. If it's grass or gravel or dirt, whatever it takes.
As we check back in on Max Reeves, the good news from the ARCA medical team, Lavar Scott, evaluated, release, okay, but certainly dejected with how his season is going to end. He'll watch the rest of this one along with us. So Reeves now up to about a 1-second advantage over the Pinnacle Racing Group teammates, McKee and Queen, as we hit the cross flags. We're halfway home in the final race of the season, and Max Reeves continues to be the pace setter.
What an amazing battle that these two teams have had really over the last couple years, not just this year. But now you throw in the second car for Pinnacle Racing Group, the 82, who's right now running in 2nd, but it's the 18 and the 28 week after week after week, and when the 82's there, it's involved as well.
And this week turning out to be no exception. And Max Reeves went 3 for 3 on the ARCA Menards Series East in 2025, winning the pole and race at 5 Flags, Nashville, and the aforementioned Flat Rock. And as we hit the Richmond and Water Heaters mid-race recap, Reeves has been the dominator, down to 7 cars on the lead lap, and some of that has to do with some early tire trouble that we saw with some of the lead lap contenders, Julian DaCosta included. 2 cautions, one for the race break, the other for Lavar Scott's crash on the approach to turn 1. But one of the constants has certainly been this Joe Gibbs Racing number 18 of Max Reeves as he works over the outside of Takuma Koga.
Just a flawless performance again by this young driver.
So as Reeves is up front, here's the battle once again for second. And Tristan McKee, for the young man, we've talked about his youth, and he has had quite the week. He was involved in the late model stock race in Martinsville, and in a much publicized incident with veteran driver Sam Yarbrough. We've heard over the course of the week that he's been under the tutelage and direction of many important figures in the sport, including Dale Earnhardt Jr., who offered him over to talk him through it. And we've already seen that Tristan has put that behind him, and he's focused forward and running very well today.
There's a 28 of Butterbean, our champion, 2025 ARCA Menards champion. Shane Huffman has definitely made that car better, because we saw Tristan McKee, once he got out in front of Butterbean in that first part of the racetrack, the first part of the race, was able to drive away, but not so much this time. So a definite improvement for that 28 of Butterbean.
There has not been much separation between these two cars, with a bit of a bobble there by Butterbean off turn 4, now working their way around the outside of Becca Monopoly in the 85, and a couple of other cars that have fallen a lap or more off the leaders.
Yeah, these lap cars has allowed Tristan McKee to catch our 18, our leader. Right there he is, just not one car length behind with heavy traffic.
Oh, Max shoots the gap on Brayton Laster and Jackson McLaren. McKee trying to do the same off turn 2.
That's a disadvantage of not really knowing your competitors, because Tristan McKee doesn't do a whole lot of racing here in the ARCA Menards Series, so he doesn't know enough to trust those drivers to give them room when they were going through the middle.
Another close call there with Justin Rothberg in his ARCA Menards debut for the Nitro team, as Reeves went way down to the bottom. Don't think Rothberg was ready for him to be there, and it kicked Rothberg up into the dust. We talked about patience, Phil. This is an example of it.
Exactly. There's a 95 of Jackson McLaren. You see Reeves gets to the inside. Nice move out of the 06 of Brayton Laster to give them room. He saw that they were going to be 3 wide, and he stayed way down on the bottom of the racetrack.
Let's add that to our list of Reese's sweet moves of the race. ARCARacing.com Monday to see if Reeves threading his way through the traffic is what gives him the nod for the Reese's sweet move at Toledo.
The clean racetrack. These cars are very similar lap time wise. McKee now trying to reel Reeves back in. He has cut the margin down to 0.4 of a second, with Butterbean about 1 second behind the leader, and then a pretty substantial gap back to Isabella Robusto, who runs 4th. Tyler Wright, your top 5. These drivers are passing back and forth. The fastest lap, that last lap, Max Reeves was the fastest. The lap before that, Tristan McKee was the fastest.
Here's the battle for the final spot in the top 5. Tyler Reif trying to fend off Taylor Reimer, who held the 5th spot not that long ago, between the restart and this moment here.
So Reif has been able to get by Taylor Reimer to grab that 5th spot. I think final ride for the year for Tyler Reif with his team. Joe Ferrara, the owner of this team out of Las Vegas.
And for Tyler, he's raced a bunch of different vehicles this season. Everything from a legend car, which he won in out west. He also ran ARCA East, as we mentioned, second in points there. Car Store, Pro Late Model, and a late model stock. Tyler's been quite busy, but he's been having a lot of fun working and racing with this Sigma Performance team, hoping to end it on a high note with a top 5.
Taylor Reimer's been able to stay within 2 or 3 car lengths of Tyler Reif.
Saw them going around Becca Monopoly, driving for the race team that recently announced they're going to go full-time at ARCA East with Becca and Quentin Davis. 2-car effort for the City Garage Motorsports team. Becca right now running in 8th.
Really doing an outstanding job holding down a top 10 spot. She's been in the top 10 just about from the very start of this race. That was Big Willie, that 3-car, trying for his 5th top 10 in a row on short tracks here in the ARCA Menards Series. He goes now 1 lap down.
It's his 2nd year in a row running Toledo for Big Willie, as Max Reeves now has a little bit of breathing room. Not just in front of him, but out the windshield as well. I should say out the rearview mirror as well. He's got a bit of a gap over McKee.
Getting close to that 2nd race break. Willie Mullins is in position to get that free pass. Taylor Reimer well ahead of our leaders, so I don't think we will see any more lapping of the lead lap cars. So Big Willie should be back on the lead lap here in a few more laps.
Now, the last time that Max Reeves went to victory lane was at Madison, and in that race, he was 1 lap shy of leading every lap. Got nipped on a restart late in the going. So far today, he has led them all.
Tristan McKee continues to hold on that second spot. Shane Huffman, the general manager for Pinnacle Racing Group, calls the shots when they run the second car. See Max makes his way around another lap car here. Opened up now almost a 2-second lead over Tristan McKee.
The bad news for Max is we're approaching what's going to be our final race break. In fact, it may come at the end of this lap. So the margin that Max has been able to build up over the field is going to be erased right now. Caution number 3. And this one is for our second and final race break, not just of the race, but of the 2025 season. As you said, Phil, this caution will give Willie Mullins the free pass as we check back in on what our pit road procedure is. Second verse, same as the first.
Yeah, exactly. Four crew members over the wall can add tires and fuel. Again, everyone will have 4 tires for this pit stop. You just can't do it at the same time. And again, you will not lose your position on the restart. How you came down pit road is how you will restart this race.
So Max Reeves hoping for the opportunity to get Toyota their 11th ARCA win at Toledo and 10th this season. He's got 74 laps to go. Back at Toledo for more right after this. Welcome back to Toledo Speedway in Toledo, Ohio. Just 74 laps are all that remain in the 2025 season with the Owens Corning 200, our final stop on the calendar for what has been an unbelievable ARCA Menards Series year and campaign. And Phil, I have to say, even though this is wrapping up a great year for ARCA, this race also serving as the final chapter in what has been a great career for Venarini Motorsports and everyone associated with that team and organization. Earlier today, both Big Bill and Kathy Venarini offered, or I should say extended, a gold card from President Ron Drager with the ARCA Menards Series. That's a lifetime membership for the two of them. A great gesture for great people who have done so much for this sport and series.
Over 40 years. They dabbled in all the other series, as you can see here, Cup, Xfinity, and Trucks, but they have been in ARCA. That's over 100 driver wins in the Venturini stable here, and some of the drivers that have raced for the Venturinis are a who's who in NASCAR right now. You can see 4 driver championships, 4 owner championships, but we talked to Bill down in the garage area, down in the pit area before the race, and I said, is it emotional? He said, yeah. He said, mostly when someone asks me about it. He said, if I'm just sitting here or whatever, thinking about what we have to do, it's not so emotional. But when someone asks me about what it means to have spent all these years in the ARCA series and stepping away, he said, that's when it gets emotional.
Yeah, the good news is we hope to see Big Bill around the track. Billy's still going to be involved in the Nitro Motorsports team for at least a year or two. So a great effort by all involved and a very emotional day for everyone who has flown the Venarini V at some point. Now, in terms of this season, even though the Drivers' Championship is already decided, Phil, when it comes to the owner's title, 2 cars, 2 numbers, we talk about a lot. They still got to settle this owner's deal for this year.
Yeah, without a doubt. So Butterbean has to kind of be a little bit more cautious now to try to get this owner championship, because he's gone on record saying this is the one he really wants. Obviously, the Driver Championship was a lot. But for Mark and Jerry Webb and the race team they, along with Shane Huffman, have put together, this race team is only a little over 2 years old, and it's been amazing what they've been able to do. Between these 2 teams, the 28 and the 18, 30 wins in the last 39 races since the beginning of last year. So it's just an amazing job. I know Mark and Jerry are here to celebrate this driver championship, and hopefully they can celebrate an owner championship as well.
Just one more box to check for Butterbean and Pinnacle Racing Group. The final race break wrapping up. We'll get back to Green Flag Racing when we come back to Toledo Speedway. How about a walk-in back in time for Toledo history? This is from the old Mark races at the old Toledo Raceway Park, which was about 2 miles from where Toledo Speedway sits. You see right there that P6, that's Toledo native Rolly Beal, who was alongside ARCA great Iggy Katona It's so much history of this racetrack and this region. There's a better look at the Hudson Hornet, which was, of course, synonymous with the early days of stock car racing. Marshall Teague at the wheel. Phil, some of those cars had license plates. They were still racing street-legal vehicles back in the day. An unbelievable peek into some of the archives and photos, and thanks to the Niemeyer family collection for sharing that with us here today.
They would drive those cars to the racetrack, race them, and then hopefully have something to drive home.
And there was no Uber back then, so if you wrecked, you were in trouble. All right, as far as ARCA history at this racetrack, familiar name at the top of this most win stat.
As always, Frank Kimmel, 9 wins here. See Bobby Bowser with 5. See my big brother Benny with 3. They had 3 races here in 68, 69, 3 in those 2 combined years, and Benny won every one of them. So he loved this racetrack. Obviously, we've been going there since I was born. See Tom Bowser, which was Bobby Bowser's uncle, that also got 3 wins here, Jack's brother.
See Sam Mayer, one of the more recent names to rack up some victories here before he went on to race full-time in the NASCAR Xfinity Series at a racetrack that, again, runs very deep in history. Basically, ARCA's backyard, Toledo Speedway. And this is a great time of year. The fact that we're closing out the season here in 2025, getting to see a lot of people, a lot of folks, past racers, crew members who love and respect and appreciate this series for all that it is.
Yeah, and we're going to move this race to May next year, so that'll be fun, and we'll have the same group of people out here supporting this race and the same great crowd like we have here.
Hopefully it's a little bit cooler. I'll hope for spring weather.
Be cooler. I bet
you know the region better than I do, so hopefully May is a little bit warmer.
Well, it's not supposed to be 87 degrees here, and I do know the region. It's not supposed to be 87.
So now to flash back as we're a lap away from this restart, at the tail end of our first 75-lap run, we saw multiple cars have tire issues. And to Phil's point, on this race break, everybody was able to strap on, at least for the front runners, the 4 tires they had set aside for this point in the race. Gotta wonder if there's some teams that may be sweating out this late run, perhaps the heat, the worn-out nature of this track. Maybe we'll start to see some more tire issues pop up at the end.
Well, and the fact that we didn't have a caution in that first stage of this race to cool the tires off a little bit. So I think everything you mentioned worked together to maybe have those tire issues at the end. Hopefully we won't see that.
But we're about to see what it will look like with Max Reeves and Tristan McKee on the front row for a restart for a 3rd time in this race. 70 laps to go to settle the Owens Corning 200 at Toledo. Max Reeves on the gas. Much better restart for McKee on the top lane, but not enough to battle for the lead. He's got company down low in Butterbean in the fight for 2nd.
Every time he restarts on the outside, he has to battle Butterbean, but it didn't take long for him to slide back in front of Butterbean. Nice job. Isabella is trying to hold on to that 4th spot where she restarted. Yes, Tyler Reif trying to get to her inside, and Tyler Reif is there. A little bit of contact.
Bit of a nudge for Reif as he got Isabella up off the bottom. They'll stay side by side to 3. Taylor Reimer watching it all. The battle for 2nd is now door to door. Butterbean to the low side of his teammate McKee in turn 1.
And they gave Shane Huffman another opportunity to work on this 28 car. We know that the 82 was better for the majority of this race, but looks like they've tuned up that 28 for Butterbean.
And no matter how impressive his laps led count number is for the season, we've also seen many races that he has gone on to win where the best part of his race is at the end.
He would love to get another opportunity to restart beside of Max Reeves. Max has been unstoppable on these restarts, and I'm sure it has a lot to do with a guy like Bobby Labonte kind of helping Max and telling him what to do on these restarts, not to mention his crew led by Matt Ross.
Here's the battle for 4th. Robusto and Reif, who made a bit of contact the last time this spot traded hands. Now it's Isabella who's on the attack and almost into the left rear quarter panel of Reif. Now down low in this fight for P4.
Reif had no choice but to give her a little bit of room. She had her nose in there. Nice job by Reif to get back down in front of the Buzzballs 25 of Taylor Reimer.
Thought the door may have been left open long enough for Reimer to be able to squeeze down to the inside, and here is how Isabella Robusto got back to 4th spot. Lunge here to the inside in turn 1 and made it work.
A good heads-up move by the 23 to give her room, because had he tried to drive down to the bottom, they would have made contact, and unfortunately, he probably would have been the guy in the worst end of it. But between his spotter and feeling Isabella's car, he was able to give her room.
So move Isabella up to 4th. And again, that body damage on the left front was sustained before the first race break. They actually took the time to patch that up on the yellow flag that came out on lap number 75. And Isabella car doesn't appear all that much worse for the wearer, but at this point she's been unable to shake Reeves. Continues to lurk about a car length off the back bumper.
As you can look at our pile on the left side of your screen, you see Jason Kitzmiller has hung in there. Right now holding down a top 10 spot. That would be enough for him if the race were to end right now to hold on to that third spot in points. We know Isabella came in with about 13 points behind, which what that means is she would have to beat him by at least 13 positions to grab that third spot in points. Right now, her running fourth, Kitzmiller running 10th. She doesn't have enough.
And Kitzmiller was one of the cars that had a problem with a right front tire before the end of the first stanza of this race. Here's Reimer running in 6th. Max Reeves, who has opened up a half-second lead over the new runner-up Brendan Queen, who got around McKee off the restart to move up in the 2nd spot, with Reeves still being the dominant car on the race up to this point.
Yeah, so much of this lead is predicated on how the cars catch traffic. If Max Reeves catches the car at the wrong spot on the racetrack, then he will lose a half a second. As you can see, he's lost about 0.3 of a second of his lead over these last 4 laps. But conversely, if Butterbean catches a lap car at the wrong spot, then that gap will open up. This is going to be what Butterbean needs right here. Let's look at Butterbean.
Maples in the 99, Rothberg in the 70, forcing Reeves to check up just a little bit. And here comes the champ to arrive on the scene.
Butterbean has him in his sights right now. But clean racetrack, Max has certainly had the speed this entire race. Butterbean has definitely made this car better the longer we've gone.
It's starting to look eerily similar to how the race unfolded. The last short track race that we had on the ARCA calendar at Salem two races ago, when Butterbean floated to the top of the running order late, and Max Reeves was one of the cars that he had to battle for that lead and win.
See them lapping around the 48th. The longtime ARCA competitor Brad Smith, over 450 career starts here in the ARCA series for Brad Smith from nearby Michigan.
Making his 30th ARCA start at Toledo with Smith is now Reeves. Has lasted to his inside. Koga up in front. Had to check up a little bit in the middle of the corner. Queen trying to pounce.
I think Butterbean would take any opportunity he could, even if his traffic would have tried to get in front of the 18 to try to control this race.
Look at Butterbean, much tighter 1 and 2, and to the back bumper for the lead. Inside as they go to 3. Reeves tries to shut the door, and there's contact.
Butterbean's there. He's on the inside. He had lap cars right in front of him. Butterbean clears him.
The crowd on his feet as now Reeves gets to the back of Butterbean. He saves the car in 1 and 2.
Reeves got in the back of Butterbean, turned him sideways.
Now Butterbean trying to regroup as they come to the line with 50 to go, and the gloves are off. Things settle out a little bit in this battle amongst cars and teams still racing for an owner's title. This was the battle for the lead a lap ago.
Great corner by Butterbean. There's a slight contact, moves the 18 up just a little bit, allows him to get side by side. We get back down to the other end of the racetrack. Max pushes Butterbean into the corner, moves him up the racetrack to grab that spot back.
See those styrofoam blocks up against the outside walls on each end of the racetrack. Butterbean did not want to be the first one to see what it's like to hit him. He kept the car off the wall and has regrouped to now be able to get back to within a half second of Reeves for the lead. All the while, Tristan McKee riding by himself in 3rd.
Yeah, I think he's lost just a little bit of pace of what he had earlier on. And what he lost, Butterbean found for sure.
Definitely a unique swing in terms of speed from each of the Pinnacle Racing Group cars. With just a little less than a quarter of the way to go in this race. Isabella Robusto hoping to wrap up her Rookie of the Year campaign with her 9th top 5 of the season, and her best finish so far this year was 3rd. Did it twice at both Dover and Talladega, and she's only 1 spot away from matching that result right now.
Yeah, she's within striking distance of McKee in the 82 as the lead tightens up once again as they lap around lap cars. There's Big Willie trying to stay on the lead lap. That's going to allow Butterbean a little bit of momentum off the corner.
Reeves not really able to clear the 3 car on the approach to 1, but now it's Butterbean who gets trapped up to the outside lane. That's going to cost him some time.
Max did a nice job of clearing him just in time to get down in the center of the corner.
So here's Reeves now outside of Alex Club. Butterbean catches Club again on the exit of turn number 2.
Such a huge advantage to catch these lap cars before you get to the center of the corner. And then you can straighten out that exit coming off turn 4, hook to your left sides on the bottom of the racetrack.
Here's the battle for what would be 4th position. Check that 5th position. This is Tyler Reif, who is holding down P5. Taylor Reimer trying to make it 2 of our women drivers in the field to crack the top 5, as we have 3 of our women in the field running in the top 8 right now, with Becca Monopoly in 8th.
There's DaCosta, the 20 car. He is running in the 9th spot. He had a flat tire in that first part of the race, so that's why he is 3 laps in arrears.
Going around Nate Muller in the 0 car. 40 laps to go. And there are several spots for the lead lap cars that remain contested for. Reeves opens up a bit of breathing room. Now back to a 2nd advantage for the leader, as Reimer had a problem getting around one of the lap cars and lost some ground to Tyler Reif on the right side of your screen. Oh, that was close between Monopoly and Reif there.
So you want to get to the bottom of the racetrack, and you have to time that when you're lapping those cars, and you hope they give you a little bit of a break getting down in the corner.
Now it's Reif way down low on Laster, and Reimer has to go way up into the 3rd groove on the approach to 1.
Lap cars are certainly challenging around this very, very fast half mile. See, DaCosta now is going to move to the inside again. This is not for position because of that flat tire. Julian DaCosta is 3 laps down, but has a fast race car.
As Max Reeves continues to lead, let's flash back to our most recent short track race at Salem Speedway, where an interesting dynamic started to unfold like what we're seeing right now. It may have to be physical at a track that bears so many consequences. Caution is out with 28 laps to go. This is not what Lavar Scott wanted to see. About a 22-lap short track Saturday night shootout on the high banks. What a great launch by Butterbean on the inside lane.
Oh, wow.
Butterbean has it. 7th win of 2025. Brendan Butterbean Queen wins at Salem. Took a late caution, a late restart, 34 to go here. That yellow came out with 22 to go at Salem. Butterbean may be a 2.5 back, but he's not out of it.
Yeah, you never know. We get a caution all the way up to the last lap of this race. We will have unlimited attempts at overtime.
Now, when it comes to Butterbean's career, it's been a butterfly effect type of not only career but life as well. The biggest turning point for him, 2022. He was already entangled in what was a lucrative but demanding full-time job as a longshoreman. In fact, 3rd generation member of his family to work at the Port of Virginia. But that year, he won his 3rd title at Langley, a dirt track championship at Dixieland Speedway, and he befriended John Staten of Best Repair Company, who has been his supporter all the way through. Later that year, he met Lee Pulliam, and in their first race together, won one of the biggest late model stock car races to end the year, the South Carolina 400. Along with Staten, he's welcomed John Folsom of Folsom Fence Repair and has kept Lee Pulliam in his pocket. And I was talking to Lee last night and said, what are the feelings for you as you watch your driver go on to not only race and win an ARCA, but to win a title? He said, we couldn't be more proud, but I'm more happy that I've got a best friend out of it all. He's got a lot of supporters. He's running 2nd right now, wrapping up this title year. But what a life it has been for Butterbean, and it's sure that his ceiling in racing has not been met yet.
Yeah, and he never fails to mention those people, his partners that have got him, the partners you just mentioned. This race team, Pinnacle Racing Group, Mark and Jerry Webb and Shane Huffman and his guys. He tries to deflect the credit from himself and put it on them.
And he is certainly garnering up a lot of support from race fans. He calls them Bean Nation, and that nation continues to increase in popularity. And it's only going to continue to happen the more success this young man finds. Got about a quarter of a second out of Max Reeves' lead that last lap. As now Reeves is back in some heavy traffic, including Kitzmiller, who is trying to hold on to that final spot in the top 10.
Yeah, Kitzmiller's also trying to lap by cars as well. Max is going to be able to get to his inside. Max has done a really good job with his lap traffic. Obviously, there's been times when he's lost some ground, but that's inevitable when you catch him at the wrong spot.
This is Queen now going around Jackson McLaren. He's going to have to navigate the same 3 cars that Reeves just got by with 25 to go in this race.
Seems like there's 2 or 3 lap cars in every corner for Max Reeves.
Now we're starting to get to that point in the race where we saw on the first run, where we did see some right side tire issues for some competitors.
Because the paces remain very fast for this race. They're running just as fast or faster than they did in that first portion of this race.
A bit of cloud cover over in turns 1 and 2, maybe helping cool off that end of the racetrack just a little bit. As now Queen is able to get clear of Kitzmiller, working his way to the outside of the Fast Track Racing number 10 of Mike Basham. Here's McKee, who still holds down 3rd. And again, if you remove Madison from the docket this season, McKee could be well on his way to what would have been his 4th podium of the season. Instead, it may be his 3rd for the young man who I bet we're going to see a good bit more of in 2026.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's hard to believe this young man just turned 15 a couple months ago. It's amazing the talent we have here in this ARCA Menards Series. Max Reeves, another one of those drivers. I think he turned 15 at the beginning of this year. Already won 2 races here in the ARCA Menards Series and maybe headed towards a 3rd.
While McKee runs in this 3rd spot, he's got about a second of breathing room over the very motivated 2025 Bounty Rookie of the Year winner in Isabella Robusto, who is running in 4th position. And there you see Isabella trying to dig about as deep as she can to not only get a podium, her 3rd of the season, but also to give the Venerini team quite the results to close out not only their year, but their tenure.
Just a bright, bright future for this young lady as well. We certainly hope that her plans for next year firm up and she can be back here running for the championship again.
Potentially with the Nitro Motorsports team that is going to be taking full control of the remnants of the Venerini organization. Nick Tucker here today supporting his car. Unfortunate day for the Nitro Motorsports team, though, as Justin Rothberg in his ARCA Menards Series debut, showing down in 19th right now, as Isabella continues to run in 4th.
They had some issues on that 70 car, unfortunately, for Rothberg. There's Tyler Wright, the 23, the Sigmund Performance Group car. This car actually had Greg Biffle run it a couple times out on the West Coast this year. Greg stepping back in a car.
We mentioned a diverse schedule for Tyler Reif. Unfortunate for him, he got knocked around a little bit in a pro late model crash at South Boston about a month ago, but he was able to heal up and get back at Kansas with this team and had a respectable run there, finishing 13th, trying to see if he could end the season on the national side with the top 5.
Yeah, he's opened up a little bit of a gap now over Taylor Reimer in that 25 car. See, timing and scoring is showing Taylor Reimer has just gone a lap down. Just has gone a lap down.
Right, the ARCA winner that he scored back in 2023 at Phoenix Raceway. His best finish this season was at Watkins Glen, where he chased Tristan McKee to the checkered flag in that race.
Made his first intermediate start at Michigan, had a nice top 10 run there.
Here's Taylor Reimer, who just fell a lap off the leader, Max Reeves, who was just ahead. But Reimer continuing to rack up solid results in this, only her second ever pavement short track ARCA start.
We mentioned the outstanding job she did at Kansas in her first ever intermediate start with a top 5 finish.
Now you got Brendan Queen behind, as now Reimer is the one-lap car between Queen and Reeves in the battle for the lead, now separated by a second, coming around to 9 laps to go in the season. Reeves now working his way through Julian DaCosta in the 20 and Takuma Koga in the 12, and Butterbean just not having the luck to get up and around Reimer. He's going to look way outside.
Yeah, a couple pretty good cars in front of Butterbean that have some pace. Looks like he's going to be able to get to the outside of Taylor Reimer. He should be able to grab this spot down in 3 and 4.
Throttled up quite well in the center of the corner, and it snaps sideways on of all 4.
See that little exchange has opened up that lead for Max Reeves again to about a 1.5 seconds.
With 6 laps to go for Max Reeves, even though this has been a breakout opportunity for him in 2025. Signed his driver development contract in February of last season with Joe Gibbs Racing. And Phil, as we've talked about, driving this car and for this team comes with a lot of expectations and pressure. And Max, the native of Trinity, North Carolina, as you said earlier, with Bobby Labonte serving as a key mentor, he has been able to meet the expectations, I think, that this car has set in its history in the ARCA Menards Series.
Yeah, without a doubt, he delivered, for sure. And I'm really excited to see what his future holds as well. Hopefully we'll see him back in this 18 car next year, maybe for many years to come.
Butterbean finally able to shake his way through the handful of cars that were pinning him back from being able to keep with Reeves, but it may be too little too late as he has dropped back to almost 2 seconds from Reeves as McKee holds down 3rd. Well, we had a caution fly on the final lap at Kansas to extend the race and bring it up to an overtime point. Max Reeves is hoping for none of that. He's got a little bit more traffic ahead of him, but he's a lap and a half away from another win, this one to close out the year. Working his way under Jackson McLaren and to the line, white flag and final lap in the 2025 ARCA Menards Series season.
Max is saying, just stay green. Let me get to that start-finish line.
2 turns to go. And from the General Tire pole to victory lane, 3rd win of the season, Max Reeves closeouts the ARCA campaign in 2025 with a win at Toledo.
And there's our champion. He clinched it when he took the green flag, but a great effort by this entire team. What a great season for Butterbean.
And Reeves still celebrating in a 4-wheel drift on the cool-down lap. Finished 3rd in the Glass City 200 here not that long ago in a super late model. And now he grabs a win in an ARCA Menards Series car with Brendan Butterbean Queen cementing his 2025 title with a runner-up finish in the final race of the year.
And with that runner-up finish, clinches the owner championship for Mark and Jerry Webb as well.
For Max Reeves, the 15-year-old from Trinity, North Carolina, 3 for 7 in his ARCA career. Adding Toledo to the list of tracks that he has won at, Elko and Madison the others. 63rd different driver to win an ARCA race at Toledo, and the 51st win for the Joe Gibbs Racing organization in ARCA competition. It's also the 10th win for Toyota this year, tying with the manufacturer Chevrolet. We'll be back to hear from our winner and champion right after this. Welcome back to the Owens Corning 200 at Toledo Speedway. And for the 5th time, Joe Gibbs Racing has won at Toledo Speedway, 2nd consecutive time they've gotten the job done on this unique and high-banked half-mile oval. And Max Reeves, who remains still one of only 3 drivers to have won more than a race this season, is able to celebrate top honors one final time in 2025. And at the same time, our 2025 champion, Brendan Butterbean Queen, is going to burn it down in front of this packed house in Toledo, cementing not only the driver's title for himself, but the owner's championship for the Pinnacle Racing Group team.
Just a dream season for Butterbean and this team. We saw what they were capable of last year, going to victory lane with Connor Zilich and Connor Mozak.
Certainly embracing in the moment and in the opportunity, and well deserved. Phil, we talked with Butterbean back at Salem, and he said he was so excited just for the chance to go to the championship banquet, but he didn't want to count his chickens until his eggs hatched. I think now we can start figuring out what he's going to wear come banquet night, because he's locked and loaded.
Yeah, without a doubt, and the ARCA Menards Series does it right for their banquet as well, so looking forward to that.
And as you can see, a lot of fans have stuck around to enjoy the celebration, and what a special celebration it's going to be. And boy, he certainly burned it down.
Not much tire left, especially on that right rear. Probably left rear will look similar.
Well, we said we were worried about some teams making it to the end on the Hoosier rubber. I don't think we counted the burnouts, so. Max Reeves, the winner, over Brendan Queen, McKee, Isabella Robusto, Tyler Reif, your top 5 in this final race of the year. As dignitaries are put in place and celebratory spaces are set up on the front stretch, Butterbean will work his way back to the attention of his hardworking crew, where he could finally reap the reward of the hard-fought effort that he has put forth with this team in 2025.
Nobody on pit road works any harder than this group right here. But we can say that about all these teams. We can say that about the Venturinis. We can say that about, obviously, Sigma Performance Group. We can talk about them. We can, you know, Willie Mullins' team. Again, another great top 10 finish for Willie Mullins. 5 in a row on the short tracks with probably a fraction of the budget of some of these teams.
And Butterbean could now just look drivers left and see that championship winning trophy that he's been able to look at several times. But our race winner, Max Reeves, climbs from the car, 3rd time this season. He's able to celebrate top honors. We're going to throw it down to victory lane to Charlie Crawl.
Thank you so much, Eric. Standing by with the race dominator, Max Reeves, your 3rd win of the season, and today it was all your way. It wasn't as easy as it looked, though, was it?
No, it wasn't. First, I got to apologize to the 28 for getting into him like that. You know, I didn't mean to do that. I misjudged it. And I just got to thank all my guys, JGR, my mom, my dad, the good Lord above for getting me here. And I was just thankful for everything.
So you had a very tight battle with Brendan for a couple of laps there. He got into you, you got into him. That, to me, that's just good, clean, hard short track racing. But once you were able to clear him, you drove off into the distance. 3 wins this season. Did you ever dream that you'd win 3 ARCA Menards Series races coming into this one?
Yeah, I knew we could, and I knew the car could. It was just if they could depend on me to do it. So I'm just proud of all my guys and just thankful to be here.
All right, so we know where he's going to go celebrate tonight when he gets home. I know where you are going to go to celebrate. What you going to get down at Cookout when you guys get back home?
I think I'm going to get a big double tray, everything on the burger, and I'm going to get chicken nuggets and okra. Y'all might not know what okra is. And then I'm going to get a milkshake, an M&M's milkshake.
M&M's. I think a Reese's peanut butter milkshake sounds pretty good tonight, but we'll let you go celebrate with that checkered flag trophy. Max Reeves, winner here at Toledo Speedway.
From the young man. First answer, apologies to Butterbean for the contact, and then also saying what we mentioned earlier, he's aware of the pressures that come with racing for this team. 3 for 7 is not a bad start to your tenure with JGR.
Not at all. He said, I know the car can do it. I just wondered if I could do it.
So Reeves, Queen, McKee, your top 3. Isabella Robusto, your Bounty Rookie of the Year winner in 2025. And Tyler Reif rounds out the top 5, but a great effort for that Sigma Performance team.
Yeah, an outstanding job by Taylor Reimer. Again, as you mentioned, only her 2nd ever pavement short track race in the ARCA Series with a 6th place finish. Big Willie, we talked about him getting that top 10. Julian DaCosta with another top 10 in his 2nd start here in the ARCA Menards Series. We saw the flat tire by Jason Kitzmiller. He stayed around, fought all day, got a nice 9th place finish. That will solidify his 3rd place spot in points. And Becca Monopoly does a nice job with a top 10 finish.
3 women in the top 10 here, including Becca and that City Garage Motorsports team. What a great way for them to close out the year. As we have Tony Costantino, Michael Maples, and more rounding out your front page of results here. Again, 25 cars came out here tonight, and we all are going to end the day by watching Brendan Butterbean Queen celebrate the chance and opportunity to embrace the season-long objective that they set forth to start the year, and that was to win the ARCA Menards Series championship. And now he's going to get a chance to enjoy it with his team and the fans who have stuck it out here at Toledo. Your 2025 champion, Brendan Butterbean Queen, climbs from the car. Charlie Kral is down there.
And I know he was chasing that 9th checkered flag of the season, buddy, just short. But you are going to take home this beautiful piece of hardware in a second. First of all, trade a little paint in there with the 18. You were not wanting to leave here without that checkered flag, were you?
No, I passed him clean, and he drives like a young kid that doesn't know how to pass. So that's how you have that. But we won the owners. We won the war. So I did everything I could to pass him clean, but that's all right. He'll learn one day.
So this ARCA Menards Series championship is something that has been on your radar all season long. What does it mean to you to add your name to the list of names like Benny Parsons and just recently Jesse Love and Ty Gibbs? That has to mean a lot to you leaving here with that championship trophy.
Yeah, it's real special. I'm more excited to bring the owners home for these guys. They're the ones that make me look good, and to win both, I think first for Pinnacle to win both, first time on the national deal. So what a dream season. I mean, I couldn't have done it without the whole Pinnacle Racing group. So proud of my crew chief, Steve O'Dawson, his first year. You know, what a rookie campaign for us. I couldn't be more prouder to have a brother for life and what I got out of working with him. So everybody at the shop, all the guys, bestrepair.net, Folsom Fence Supply, Mark and Jerry Webb for letting me drive their race car. They could have picked anybody. So super thankful for that. Driven Sunglasses, the Josh Wise program, everybody at Chevrolet. Obviously got to thank the man above. Clear 28, all they do for me. I just blessed to be here, where I was 3-4 years ago to now. It's unbelievable to be a champion, and hopefully I can represent the series well.
And we do not have to let you chase your dream of being a baseball player. You and Phil Parsons got to do a little batting practice yesterday. I think this race car thing is going to work out for you. How are you going to celebrate tonight?
Yeah, we're probably going to pound some waffles and some ice cold drinks here in a little bit. So going to enjoy the plane ride home and just honestly soak it in with my team. It's more important to me to see them celebrate. And obviously, another one I got to thank Nicole for being by my side all year before I forget that one. So
you might be sleeping on the couch if you forgot that one. I'm going to bring ARCA President Ron Drager in. He's got a little bit of hardware to give you, Ron.
Come on over here, Brennan. On behalf of ARCA, in our 70-plus year history, you're the ARCA Menards Series National Champion. On behalf of John Menard and the Menard family and everyone at Menards, congratulations. You're the ARCA Menards Series Champion 2025. Great job.
Thank you to ARCA and everybody at Menards for giving us a place to race, and FS1 and 2 for doing all they did all year. Just appreciate it, and I'm excited to hoist this thing with my team.
Let's do it.
Oh yeah.
The moment that Butterbean has been waiting for, with ARCA President Ron Drager there as well. He hoists the championship trophy and closes out an unbelievable weekend here at Toledo and year for the ARCA Menards Series. We'll step aside and come on back to close out not only our afternoon in Toledo, but the 2025 season. ARCA Menards Series Racing on Fox is brought to you by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Reese's, not sorry. And by General Tire. #GT delivers. Back at Toledo Speedway, where Max Reeves has won the battle known as the Owens Corning 200, but the war of the ARCA Menards Series in 2025 goes to Pinnacle Racing Group and Brendan Butterbean Queen. Second place effort today in the race, but a tremendous year celebrating a title. And Phil, what has been another really fun year of ARCA competition to be a part of.
Yeah, without a doubt. And we saw our ARCA President Ron Drager award the championship trophy to Butterbean, and I just want to mention we go way back. We grew up together right here at Toledo Speedway and Flat Rock Speedway, and the Markham family started ARCA in 1953, and Ron is the grandson of the founders, John and Mildred Markham, and so this series has been in family hands. Obviously, NASCAR bought this series, but Ron has remained in control. He's been to every single race for over 40 years. He's not missed a race in over 40 years, and he gets it. He's one of the titans of our sport, and I love the fact that he is so welcoming to the competitors, to us as TV people, race fans or whatever. He's just a credit to this sport for sure.
Yeah, this is only my 3rd year being able to cover these races, and as he said at the Champions Dinner last night, anyone who races in ARCA, works with ARCA, you're part of the ARCA family for life, and Ron sticks to that, and the pleasure is all ours. Now, the future is bright as well, as it was recently announced this morning with the 2026 calendar. Looks like kicking it off on Valentine's Day at Daytona with a new season finale, Kansas in 2026.
Yeah, we see Toledo. This race has moved up to May. We're going to go back to Chicagoland. That's going to be fun as well. And also going to go back to Pocono, longtime racetrack for the ARCA Series. After a 1-year hiatus, we're going back to Pocono in June.
And the diversity we all love about the schedule, 2 dirt races, multiple short tracks, 2 road courses. A lot to look forward to in 2026, and we hope that you will join us along for the ride when the season kicks off in February next season.
Yeah, I also want to thank all our Fox family, everybody behind the scene, everybody in the truck, camera people, audio people, everybody back in the studio. It takes a lot of people to put one of these shows on, and I certainly appreciate each and every one of them, the men and women that do it.
And I echo those sentiments completely. Also, Phil, fun working with you this year. You had a blast.
Good job.
On behalf of everybody across the Fox family of networks, Charlie Crawl, Phil Parsons, I'm Eric Brennan. So long to 2025. We'll see you at Daytona. Thanks again to everyone for watching. Congratulations to Brendan Butterbean Queen, your 2025 ARCA Menards champion.